Guys, don't you just love that card? So we're going to make that card today. We're going to use the stamp set Treehouse Adventure. This is the only stamp set we're using today. It's a very cute set. It's got all kinds of different details in here that you can put on your tree house and your tree, and they have little banners and stuff. So super fun. You can make it as detailed as you want, or you can keep it simple. My card today is kind of in the middle of that, I think. So we're going to use this set today. We're using multiple colors, so I will just go over the colors as we use them. You're also going to need Pool Party cardstock. This is A2 size. That's going to be your card base. And then you're going to need a piece of scrap of Pool Party. The scrap piece that you need, we're going to use the square framelits. And we're going to use the 4th smallest framelit. So I always count down from my smallest. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this guy here. So you just need a piece of Pool Party that's that big. But I'm going to use this to cut out our stamped image after we've stamped it down. You could use it now, but I think it's easier to stamp your image and then work around it. So first thing we're going to do is stamp out our tree house. So I'm using Pool Party to stamp out the base of the tree house. So this stamp right here, we're going to stamp out in Pool Party. Then we're going to take Blueberry Bushel, and these are the new style ink pads. So these are really easy to open. There's a little notch right there. You just put your finger in there, pull it up like you would a compact, and then slide it. Simple. And with our new ink pads, they have the little divots in there, so they stack nicely on top of each other. So you're going to take the roof of the tree house, and because it's can bend easily, I'll put it down on my work surface and then pick it up with the block. And then you're just going to use your ink, and you're just going to ink over the roof. And because they are photopolymer, you can see through it, so you can line that up nicely. So the next stamp you're going to use is the shutters, which are these two right here. So again, we're going to use the Blueberry Bushel to stamp that out, and just line that up right on your windows. The next color we're going to use is Poppy Parade, and we're going to stamp the door out in Poppy Parade. So this one right here is the little door. When you close up these ink pads, you just take the little lip here, you pull forward, pull it all the way to the end. If you don't pull it to the end, you can break it. So make sure it's all the way at the end, and then you just flip it closed and push it, and most of the times it'll click to let you know that it's closed properly. Next color we're going to use is Soft Suede, and we're going to stamp out the rails. So right here, these guys right here, we're going to stamp in front of the tree house, in front of the door. So now you're going to want to cut this out with your Big Shot. Like I said, the 4th smallest square framelit. So once you have that cut out, you just want to go ahead and set that to the side. Then we're going to take our piece of Whisper White here, and we're going to finish out our stamping. So in this stamp set, there is a tree trunk, this right here. So you're going to want to stamp that out. So we're using the color Soft Suede just to stamp out your tree, and you're going to stamp it off a little bit from the bottom. So you don't want to put it right on the edge. I mean, you can if you want to, but I stamped it off a little bit. Just like that. And if you wanted to fussy cut this out, it'll fit in here, and then you could see the brown. I don't like fussy cutting. I know this is pretty simple, but I just don't like to fussy cut. So this is going to cover that up, which I'm fine with that. But like I said, if you want to fussy cut it out, the house will fit nicely in between these two pieces of the tree here. In here is the pieces of the tree here. Well, these can be clouds also, or they can be pieces of the trees. But this piece right here, the bigger one, we're going to use that one to stamp out and around. The color I'm using to stamp that is Granny apple green. So I just kind of just went around the branches here. Then the next step I did was I took my treehouse, and I'm just going to put some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals on the back. I'm just going to position this right in the center of the tree here, just like that. And then we're going to do some stamping down here. In this stamp set, there is little, it looks like grass right here. We're going to take that grass and we're going to stamp it along the whole bottom here. The color I'm using to stamp it is Call Me Clover. So the next stamp we're going to use are the 3 flowers. And what I did was I took out the Stampin' Right markers. I'm using Blueberry Bushel, Pineapple Punch, and Lovely Lipstick. And I'm taking the paintbrush end of it, the wider end, and I'm just going to use it on the flowers. And I'm going to just do 1 flower for each color. Once they're all colored, because the Stampin' Right markers are water-based, you can just give these a huff. So just blow on them once and then stamp them down, and then you'll get the multicolored of flowers. So you can do that along the whole bottom, or you can do it just on the sides. I'm just going to do it on the 2 sides here, the 2 ends, but it's up to you if you want to do the whole length of the tree. Next thing you're going to use is the ladder right here, and we're going to stamp it. We're going to use the color Gray Granite to stamp that down. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some embossing at the top of this card. So in here there are all these sayings that you can use. I'm using Hey Kid, You're Awesome, because then on the inside of the card you can use any one of these that goes along with this. So I'm using that, and then I'm going to use on the inside Happy Birthday, because I can always use happy birthday cards. So I'm going to take my Emboss Buddy and just rub it over the top. And then you're going to use, these are brand new, so you get 5 of these embossing powders for $25, and it's all the in colors. So you're going to get Pineapple Punch, Call Me Clover, Blueberry Bushel, Grapefruit Grove, and Lovely Lipstick. So I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel. And I also am going to use the Stamparatus because I want to make sure I get enough of the Versamark on top, so I can double, triple stamp the image on here. So the Stamparatus comes with 2 magnets, which I've taped with duct tape. You want to keep them away from each other because they will shatter. Most of the time you only need 1 magnet to hold down your project because they're very strong. So I'm just going to place this in the middle of my Stamparatus, and because it's photopolymer stamps, I will leave the rubber mat on because this mat will come off. If you're using clear mount stamps, then you would take the mat right off. So I'm just going to place this down. I'm actually going to use 2 magnets just because I have both of them out there. And I'm just going to hold that down, and then I'm going to take the stamp and I'm going to lay it right on top of the card where I would like it to be stamped out. So right there I think is fine. I'm going to take my plate, which these just, you're at a 90-degree angle. You can pull them in and out. You can switch them this way. You can flip them around. You can have multiple images on, or multiple stamps on these plates and stamping. You can also do the hinge method, where if your stamp is here, you stamp it down once, you pick it up, you move it down, and then your stamp is still there, but then it's stamping down on your card. It's a really cool effect. So we're just going to pick up this stamp, and then we're just going to use our, like I said, the Versamark, and I'm going to stamp it down 2 or 3 times just because I want to make sure I get that Versamark on there. Now with the Stamparatus, there is a chamois that you can buy. This is $8, and you wet it down, and you just would use it to wipe off your inks on here. So if you have colored inks, the color picks it right up and it doesn't go back on your hands or anything. So this, like I said, is $8. I do like this one. It's thick. I did buy, before the chamois came out, we didn't have anything. So I went to Walmart and I bought the absorber, which works wonderful too. It is thinner, and I cut it. It's a very big piece. You get 2 of them. I just cut it into little pieces to work with, and you can see it's really thin. So I like both of them. I use this one and I use the thick one, and they're great for all kinds of things in your craft room. So these, you don't want to store them in anything that is airtight. You want them to have air because they can mold. So you can buy the stamp cases through Stampin' Up, and you can store it in the stamp case, but you want to make sure you either leave the case lid open, or a lot of people have been cutting a little tab out of the stamp case to give it some air. So I just, when I'm done with them, I just leave them on my desk, and then they turn really, really hard. They dry up and shrivel up, and then all you have to do is run water on them just to reactivate them. So they don't need any soap, just water. You just put water over them and you're good to go. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our blueberry bushel emboss powder on this now. If you do not have the emboss powder, when you stamp this out with your Versamark, you can stamp it down, you know, a few times with your Versamark, and then on the last stamp, you want to ink it up with your whatever color. So if you're going to use the blueberry bushel, ink it up with the blueberry bushel, then stamp it on top, and then use clear emboss powder, and you will still see the blueberry bushel color pop up. So that's another trick that I've done before in the past. So the Stamparatus, when you put it away, you just want to take your plates out and store them. You can store them one on here, put your mat in between the other so that they are not scratched. You don't want to put them back in their hinges when you store them. And there are little spots for your magnets to go. I have a case that I bought off of Amazon. It's just a neoprene case that I bought for myself to store it in. I believe Stampin' Up will have a case coming out, and I just made this myself with my Cricut. So this is all that I put mine in. It was $9 or $10 off of Amazon, I believe. So, and it stores in there very nicely that way. So once you have that embossed, we're just going to bring in our card base, and then you're just going to use some snail adhesive, some kind of adhesive to anchor that down. Then I'm just going to take blueberry bushel using the stamp Happy Birthday, and we're just going to stamp that on the inside of the card. And then that's it. That's all to that card. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.